What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and this is Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to everyone that celebrates the holiday of Christmas. Okay, it is counterpunching time. I have to counterpunch a video that I saw just recently. Since it's fresh on my mind, I want to get to it. It's from 78 Sports. 78 Sports had a bold caption, and it read this: Deontay Wilder is better than Wladimir Klitschko. So with a title like that, obviously I have to chime in, and I listened to the whole thing. And I'm going to break down the video so you guys can understand it. Of course, I won't put a link below because you guys will look for it after this video, I'm quite sure. However, let me talk about the things that I agreed with. He went on to say that Wladimir Klitschko he's a fan of Wladimir. He is a great heavyweight. But his argument was that Deontay Wilder is a better fighter than Klitschko. And let me back up. First of all, he had to note, since he's also a Wilder fan, that Wilder, despite his size, he's a wiry, durable guy, and he has a good chin. He took a lot of good punches. You know, the Molina fight, he took a good punch, and he kept coming. He recovered well, which I agree with. Deontay Wilder does have the ability to recover. He does have heart. Okay, despite my opinions about what he does outside the ring, what he does inside the ring, he has heart, and he shows heart. You know, he did get caught with a punch he did not see with Ortiz, a right hook. That hurt him severely. He said that he couldn't be stopped because of that. Well, he could have been stopped. But, you know, that's a referee's discretion. And I think he had a lot of referees' help. You guys know that follow me. But he did get rocked with Molina, and he took that punch and kept coming. That's absolutely true. And he does have an underrated beard, because Tyson Fury, as he was noting, did catch him with a lot of 1-2s, to the point that himself, 78 Sports, was getting pissed off about, because he was getting hit with all these punches, these flush 1-2s, these two pieces. Okay. And, you know, and that showed that, you know, Deontay does have a good chin, especially being the size that he is, because he's damn basically a cruiserweight, you know. He's not the biggest heavyweight, in other words. But he got on to Wladimir. Wladimir Klitschko was, in his eyes, the human Drago, the real life Drago. And he was knocking people out until he got stopped by Ross Parody, okay? And he had a record of 24-13 or something like that. He had 13 losses. And he was a journeyman. And what I'll say in defense of Klitschko on that fight, first of all, anybody can overlook a fighter. Look at Jermell. Look how he overlooked Harrison, okay? When you're on a hiatus, when you're on a winning streak, okay, it's easy to overlook a guy with 13 losses. Because you think, well, okay, I'm going to add to that pot. But people have a surprise for you. And he was surprised that night. He underestimated Parody. Ross took him down, knocked him out, okay? The second guy, I believe, was Corey Sanders. You know, and Corey Sanders was a decent fighter at the time. Then Lamont Brewster, you know, and he caught him after, and that was a seesaw-like battle. But he questioned who Klitschko beat. He beat fighters like Samuel Peterson, Chris Bird, and we can stop right there. He beat Samuel Peterson when he was undefeated, first of all. And Chris Bird, of course, you know, he hadn't really lost a clear fight, until he was knocked out for the first time by Ika Barabucci, okay? And then he had a scuffle with the other Klitschko, which he upset. So those were 2 good wins. All right. Those 2 guys themselves validates anybody that he's fought. Okay, because you look on the era, you look at Luis Ortiz and you look at Tyson Fury, you know, and he drawed with Tyson Fury, you know, and of course, you know, the Luis Ortiz fight, I think he needs to rematch Ortiz just to set the record straight. If you can rematch Stavern, you can rematch Ortiz. Just saying. But those 2 guys on his list, on Vladimir's list, you know, he beat everyone in that era. He beat everyone. Then he came to the new era. He lost to Tyson Fury and he was knocked out by Anthony Joshua. And, you know, that was a hell of a fight. Now, 78's, saying all that, 78's response is, his claim, his argument is that Deontay Wilder beats everyone that beat Wladimir Klitschko. Okay. And Ross Parody, yeah, sure. Corey Sanders, yep. Lamont Brewster, yep. I think Deontay axes all those guys also. So I agree with him with that. This video ain't what you people think. It's a counterpunch because I have to counterpunch some things that he has to say. So I agree with some of the things that he said. You know, but when it comes to Tyson Fury, okay, Tyson Fury, he drawed. So there's really no way to know. But, you know, there's arguments and debates within arguments and debates. So we know a lot of people are convinced, including myself, that Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder. You know, like the 2-piece combos that Fury was laying on Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder couldn't lay those on Fury to the point that he himself was getting mad in that situation simply because Deontay Wilder was taking so many punches. Okay. Anthony Joshua. That's another fighter that, you know, they haven't fought yet. So it's kind of hard to establish or to make that claim when those guys haven't fought. So it's, the argument is just because the guys that beat Klitschko, Deontay can beat. It's unfair to make a bold statement like that when, for one, the only guy on that list that Wladimir Klitschko has not fought is himself, which is Deontay Wilder. So it's hard to make that assumption that, hey, Deontay Wilder has beat, or Deontay Wilder is better than Wladimir Klitschko with all the defenses that Wladimir has made and the fighters Wladimir has fought. Okay, you can compare Samuel Peterson to Luis Ortiz. I get that. That's equal. Tyson Fury. He's fought Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, you know, outboxed him or whatever, but he definitely outboxed Klitschko. So I can see the argument with that. But the elephant in the room is Anthony Joshua. See, the only way that we can ever figure this out, to be fair about it, is that Deontay Wilder fights Wladimir Klitschko. But 2 years ago, well, yeah, about 2 years ago now. In March. That's the only way that we can make this, you know, this stick and know that this is true. Wladimir is supposed to make a comeback. So you guys know that follow my channel. I've already done a video about Wladimir versus Wilder. So that fight can be, we can find that out in 2 fights. You know, but 78 went on to say, even if Anthony Joshua beats Deontay Wilder, Deontay Wilder's record is Deontay Wilder is still better than Wladimir Klitschko. And I don't see how he can make that based on him fighting 2 guys. Because everyone else Deontay Wilder has fought has been suspect. You know what I mean? You can pull guys that Wladimir has fought out of the hat. You know, Samuel Peters, he was a vicious, hard puncher guy. Okay? Dropped Klitschko a couple times in that fight. Klitschko still was able to win by a decision. Chris Bird was most, you know, he said he discredits Chris Bird Yeah, he's a middleweight that's been blown up, but so is Evander Holyfield, okay? So let's cut the shit on that, because just because you came from a lower weight class doesn't mean you can't establish yourself and acclimate yourself at a higher weight class, especially heavyweight. And Chris Bird did that, and he was difficult to a lot of fighters, including his brother, including David Tua, including a lot of people, everyone basically that stepped into the ring. However, to be fair, Chris Bird did say he would hate to fight someone like Deontay Wilder. However, Chris Bird is a difficult opponent for anyone. So you have to give Wladimir credit for beating Chris Bird, you know, and Samuel Peter. And David Haye, because you remember David Haye stopped Derek Chisora, a guy that claimed to beat Dillian White, which is one of the top heavyweights. So we can't ignore that. Regardless of what you view him as, a cruiserweight or whatever, you know, David Haye done that, but he couldn't mess with Klitschko. Okay, so to look at Deontay's record, the guys that he's beat, you know. And I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to compare the people that beat. And that's what he did. He wasn't trying. He done. He compared the people that beat Wladimir. Could Deontay Wilder beat them? But what he should have done is he should have compared the fighters that Deontay has fought, okay, and beaten, versus the guys that Wladimir has fought and beaten. Then we would have a fair assessment. Okay, on top of the things that we can still do. I know Wladimir is still claimed to be retired, but he's coming back. Trust me, my friends. So this video can manifest, or these two videos can manifest to see who is really better and whose resume is better. Because when Wladimir comes back, he's not coming for any weak bullshit fights. Okay, that's one thing that Wladimir hasn't done. And Deontay had his opportunity, admitted by Shelly Finkel, to fight Wladimir. Okay, he didn't want him in the ring, nowhere near Wladimir, especially after that sparring beatdown that Wladimir gave Deontay Wilder. So again, I tell you guys, it's not really about who Deontay Wilder can knock out that beats Klitschko. It's what Klitschko can do to Deontay Wilder and what these guys can do in the ring to fathom, plus the accolades that these guys have done in the ring. And that's all you really need to know, you know, from comparison. Okay, so you guys tell me what you think about this video. I know it was kind of long. I had to break down everything. But for the record, Klitschko's style, I do agree with 78 Sports with this. I didn't like his style. That jab and grab shit, I hated it. That's why he was booed in America every time that he was here. The Bryant Jennings fight, he was booed because no one wanted to see that. Because Bryant Jennings is an inside fighter that likes to rip shots to the body and to the head. He couldn't do that with someone that was jabbing and grabbing him behind the head, okay? So I hated that style. But regardless of what my personal opinion is about the fighter, I disagree with 78 Sports saying Deontay Wilder is a better heavyweight than Wladimir Klitschko. And I just explained why. Of course, you guys tell me what you think. Please subscribe, hit the like button. You guys been Counterpunched. Peace.